Live from New York, you're watching News Always On. I'm Kessyl. President Trump is threatening to shut down the government if his demands are not met on immigration. He tweeted just yesterday, then later this morning, saying, quote, "I would be willing to shut down government if Democrats do not give us the votes for border security, which includes the wall. We must get rid of lottery, catch, release, etc. and finally go to the system of immigration based on merit. We need great people coming into our country." This isn't the first time that Trump has threatened a government shutdown over his desire for Congress to pass stricter immigration policies. In February, Trump said he would love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of. Congress ultimately passed a spending bill that Trump signed. Republicans and Congress have pushed back on the idea of using a shutdown to get more concessions from Democrats on immigration. Flight MH370 disappeared 4 years ago with 239 people on board. The Malaysian Airlines flight was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The Malaysian government has issued what is meant to be a definitive 1,500-page report on the disaster, but it provided very little in the way of answers. The report highlighted shortcomings in the government response and raised the possibility of intervention by a third party. Chief Investigator Kok Son Chun said the cause of the disappearance cannot be determined until the wreckage and black boxes are found. He said the team looked into the pilot and first officer's background and said they were qualified, well-rested, and showed no signs of anxiety or stress, adding that the plane did not have a malfunction or defect that could explain the disappearance. Family members of those on board the plane said they were frustrated as there were many gaps in the investigations and questions left unanswered. Here is more.
We cannot establish if the aircraft was flown by anyone other than the pilot. But we also cannot exclude the possibility that there's unlawful interference by a third party. The possibility of intervention by a third party cannot be excluded. It should be recognized that due to the significant lack of evidence available to the team, we are unable to determine with any certainty the reasons that the aircraft diverted from its far flight plan route. The lack of evidence includes the information recorded on the flight data recorder, cockpit voice recorder, and other recording devices on the aircraft that could indicate why the aircraft had flown to the southern Indian Ocean. So I can only tell you, based on what our team members said, we could not detect any abnormality with the pilots. That's the only thing they said. There was an air turn back. And from our analysis and findings, we can conclude that MH370 had turned back. And we also can confirm that the turn back was not because of anomalies in the mechanical system. And we have carried out simulator sessions to determine how the aircraft turned back. And we can confirm that the turn back was made not under an autopilot, but it was made under a manual control.
Yeah, he was cleared. He was cleared. I feel very relieved. I'm so happy. The fact that he's cleared, but still that's not the end of the story. We want the plane or the wreckage to be found.
There's no conclusion, there's no answer.
So would you say that you're satisfied or dissatisfied?
No, we're not. Definitely we're not. They cannot even answer any of the questions.
Report since the plane hasn't yet been found. Malaysia's government has said it is open to resume searching if credible evidence of the plane's location emerges. Danica Wicks, whose husband Paul was on board the plane, said MH370 cannot be left a mystery. Wicks said she is disappointed that the report did not shed any light on the aircraft's disappearance and that her family and others will have a closure. Here is her story.
3 days ago on Thursday, they called to say that they would pay for our flights, but 48 hours with 2 young children, a myriad of pets and full-time work, there was no way I was going to make it. So I was very angry. So at this point, I haven't seen the report, but I have just seen tweets out that, look, there was no conclusions and, 1,500 pages. I'd hoped there was going to be something today. I was hoping that it was going to be some light shed on what has been going on in the background in the last 4.5 years. We have pressured to find out what's been discovered, and now look, today it looks like it's nothing. We're no further ahead of finding our loved ones or what happened to them 4.5 years on. That's frustrating. It makes me very angry, and it's just another roller coaster of emotions. Well, now I think I'm just lost, really, that nothing's come of it, and that again we've been left with no answers. It's just unacceptable. It's ludicrous that you can lose a Boeing 777 and so long on we still have no idea where they are or what happened. And look, Malaysians are responsible for this plane, and we hoped that they were going to be the ones to tell us and give us information, and again we've been let down. Look, absolutely, I think we need to take this report and digest what's in it and say, okay, well, where to from here? I think it's time the Australian government, particularly Deputy Prime Minister, stands up and said, as the Transport Minister, that it's time to, push forward and put pressure on the Malaysians to find this plane and to find closure, not only just for us, but for the aviation industry as a whole. I'm quite deflated. I tried not to put too much hope in it because we often have so much hope and it's dashed. It looks like that again. I really thought 1,500 pages was going to be it. It was going to give us some, insight, some more information about where our loved ones are, or where Paulie is. I'm a mess today again. This is just, put us right back to day one. It seems like we can never get ahead. We're always just, dragged back to March 8th, and it'll keep happening until we have some solid concrete proof of what happened to this plane. They failed, again, it's been like this the whole time. They've really dealt with this badly, and again, another show of we don't know what happened, and we don't really, we don't know, and we don't care. So, it is, again, it's a slap in the face for us, and we go back to the drawing board again, and we go, okay, where to go now? And as I say, this is not just for us, it's for the aviation industry as a whole. And I just hope that, Australia will put more pressure and find this plane. It can't be left, MH370 cannot be left a mystery. Look, we haven't had a memorial, there's no closure, and so they've missed out on that gap, and for them it's hard. It's hard for me to even reconcile what's gone on, so how can a 7 and a 5-year-old? So I just be there for them. They're as emotional when I am, so we're all in an emotional roller coaster, but I can just be with them every day, and I just hope one day for them, as I've promised them, I'll have the answers, and then we can have our rite of passage, and we can say our proper goodbyes to Paulie, and they can have the sense of, Lincoln's even asked me if he can go to Dad's grave, and I say, well, I just don't know where he is. He's still on the plane, and we don't know where that plane is. So how is that fair in anyone's world? How does he cope with? He's this very smart kid like his dad, and I just hope, in the long run, they're not affected by what we've had to endure over the last 4.5 years, and seems like we're going to endure for a lot longer yet.
The Carr fire raging in Northern California is so large and hot that it is actually creating its own localized weather system with variable strong winds. That made it difficult for experts to predict which way the blaze will spread. The fire has killed 6 people so far, and their great-grandmother. According to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the fire which started a week ago has burned about 98,000 acres, and only 20% is contained. It is one of the top 10 most destructive wildfires in California's history, with flames destroying at least 966 structures in the area. Here is more.
This fire has been incredibly active. It's primarily due to a couple different factors. The weather has been extremely hot and dry, and we've had a very persistent, very steady and strong wind out of the west that has been pushing the fire from the French Gulch area towards the western area of the city of Redding. So we're very sad to report that we have had 2 firefighter fatalities on this particular fire. One was a private hire dozer, and the other was a City of Reading firefighter, and there will be investigations ongoing into both of those accidents. 5 structures have been destroyed so far, another 55 have been damaged. We have about 5,000 that are currently threatened. We know that those numbers are going to go up as we send those damage inspection teams out to the fire area.
A bus carrying Chinese tourists has collided with 2 vehicles in southern Turkey, killing 2 Turkish citizens and leaving 30 people injured. A Turkish media says the accident occurred Sunday morning at a town in the southern province of Antalya on the outskirts of Eseki. The bus carrying 31 Chinese tourists along with the driver and his co-pilot was on its way to Cappadocia. 1 female Chinese tourist is reportedly in critical condition. That's all the time we have for now. For News Always On, I'm Kessyl, and I'll see you at 4 in the afternoon.